Hi, Brock. Alan Cockrell with ABC, hitting coordinator for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm going to run through your video today. I'm going to let it run through a couple of times. We'll talk about a few things, then we'll slow it down, draw some lines. When I just first look at your setup position, everything very balanced, very good position. I like the width of your stance. I like the athletic setup that you're in. I like how your hands load back. All of that looks very good. Then when we start to stride and we set the side foot open, we get it just a little bit too far open. And what I see, Brock, is I see the front hip starting to open, and then as soon as that happens, then I see the hands start to cast out and around the swing, and we just kind of swing around our body instead of swinging in front of our body and extending the barrel through the ball a little bit more. So I think it really has a lot to do with the stride foot and how open the stride foot gets, and then what that does in relationship to the front hip. And that just causes us to want to swing across our body a little bit. It's going to be very difficult to handle pitches away, outer half. It's going to be very difficult to handle any type of a changeup or a breaking ball from a lefty, anything that's off speed or kind of moving away from us a little bit. So I'll just kind of run through. I'll slow it down. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, when your hands go back, I mean, right there, everything's good. You know, a lot of young hitters at this particular time, they have this knee over that foot, but your knee stays inside that foot. The weight gets into that back leg. That looks really, really good. Now when the stride foot lands right here, this is where I start to see some things I think we need to make an adjustment on. Well, I look at the stride foot, and I draw the lines on the stride foot, and we are at, what does it say here? We are at 53 degrees. Anytime that stride foot lands and opens up more than 45 degrees, it's going to cause this front hip to want to open and leak towards the pull side of the field. Okay. Now, if we get a ball inner half, it's not going to affect our swing. If we get a ball that's middle, outer half, outer third, like I said, a breaking ball from a lefty or a changeup from a righty, anything off speed, it's a very, very tough position to be in, to be able to stay on that ball and get to that ball, and then get the extension of the barrel staying through that ball. This is a swing where it's going to cause the hands to kind of cast out in this direction, so the swing path is going to be like this. Okay, and what we want is we want this 45-degree angle right into here, where that foot would keep this hip more squared up underneath. You can see your hip line right here is totally open. And when it opens like that, then our hands swing around our body in that direction. So really all goes back to this stride foot that's going to keep this hip squared up so that the hip line looks like this, and it's not open like what we got. So I'm going to erase lines, and we're going to go ahead and just take a look at your swing path. And as you start to get to the ball, we can see there's contact, and then immediately see how the hands pull across your body. And that basically all goes back down to the lower half of your body. Okay, so what we need to do is, when we get to that loaded position, we need to make sure that the stride foot right here is staying at a 45-degree angle. When the heel plants, the stride foot is in this area, this hip line stays like this. Now you're in a position to hit the ball in, slightly out front. You're in a position to hit the ball middle, just slightly in front of your stride foot, and then we're in a position to hit the ball away, which is maybe even with your stride foot or slightly inside your stride foot. The best way to practice something like this, Brock, is to just set a tee up, and set a tee on the outside third of the plate, and set that tee, as I mentioned, even with or just inside your stride foot, and load. And in a cage, this is going to be a ball that we're going to hit a line drive through the left side of the cage. With the particular swing that we're working with right now, where the stride foot opens, the hip opens, This would be a ball that will probably roll over to the right side, or maybe even the barrel would drag and slide underneath, and we'd hit this ball into the top of the cage. But if we can just get our lower half in a better position, that allows for those hands to start to work in a forward direction. They start to work forward, and then that barrel releases to here, and then the extension stays through the baseball, and we're not pulling our hands across our body. But, you know, I know so many big league hitters that their entire routine in the cage prior to batting practice is done off a tee, because we can set the ball exactly where we want. We can set the ball in the exact location and work on that area to get our body in the perfect position, or the proper position, to be able to hit pitches in all the areas. And you know, a lot of young hitters think, well, if the ball's in, I'm going to open up early. If the ball's away, I'm going to step to it. You know, we really don't have that much time to be able to do those things. And the older you get, you're going to have even less time. Pitchers are going to start to throw their fastballs with a little more velocity. They're going to have a little bit better command. They can throw it to both sides. And then you add in a breaking ball, so that load consistently needs to be in the same place all the time. And as I mentioned, the biggest thing is keep this stride foot at a 45, keep this front hip right here, keep it from wanting to leak open, so that our maximum area of coverage is to the pull side, because that hip's coming out of there. Okay? Now we go forward a little bit more in the swing, and as we get to contact, you know, another thing that I want to caution you on is don't let this knee slide forward as we go into the extension of the swing. We don't want the knee, this front knee, we don't want it to slide forward and get on top of that foot. We want to keep that knee inside that front foot, so it acts as a brace. It can absorb the energy that the backside is driving into that front leg. But if that knee gets over, on top of, or even out in front of that front foot, then it doesn't absorb the energy and allow for the maximum extension. Okay, so be careful that two things, that this foot is at a 45, the knee stays inside, so that we can get that barrel going to the ball and then extending through the ball. And basically, you know, the extension that we want to feel would be with your left hand, your top hand. It's just like skipping a rock through a lake, or on a lake. And we want to keep that top hand, we want to keep it palm up, staying at contact, palm up, and then extending, staying palm up, all the way into extension. And then once we get the barrel to full extension, then the top hand will roll. But the action of the top hand is exactly like skipping a rock on the flat on a flat rock on the lake, and that's gonna help you feel what the hands are supposed to feel like, extending the barrel through the ball. And again, this is a drill. We're hitting this ball through the left side of the cage, and if we stay on it the proper way, it's a line drive that way, and that's the maximum result we could ever hope for. So this is a drill that I'm quite certain it'll help you. We'll just set that tee right here at about that depth, and then just make sure that we're staying through this ball to drive it through the left side. Okay, bud? Brock, I want to wish you luck, buddy, and thanks for coming to our camp.